Hi there, a very good morning, good afternoon to all of you, depending on wherever you're watching me. This simply Talks, and I'm live with another video in here. I'm making this video on a very interesting IPO, that is Tata Technologies. You would have known it from the heading for this video. So basically, people have entered into Tata Technologies IPO, and they are trying to get into it. The subscription is around 70 times, and it looks difficult that most of us will get it or not. So I can give a disclaimer that I have also put in for the first time in my life, got into an IPO, and that is Tata Tech. And let's see if we get the subscription or not. But what if it gets listed at 950, 960 rupees, or whatever the premium is, and the premium goes up in the next week or so? And what needs to be done then? Or rather than saying what needs to be done then, which is not quite what I want to say, but basically, uh, how are the valuations at 950, 960 rupees, and do we see any upside? Do we see that there is still value left in the stock when it gets listed at, say, even at 940, 950? We'll discuss that so that people can make a rational decision based on their analysis, and you can all do your own analysis on it, and eventually come down to a, you can say, to a decision whether to get into the stock after a premium of 80 to 90% on the IPO price for Tata Technologies. So we'll discuss all that in this video. Let's get started. Again, not a recommendation to get into the stock or anything. I'll just guide you through the valuations and how the peers are doing, etc. So we'll discuss everything. So let's get started. Let me minimize my video here, and let me just then take you to the screener website and the various disclaimers, so that we can discuss this in detail. So first of all, a disclaimer that this is not a stock recommendation. People taking any position to any share that I talk about should do that with their own due diligence and research, and I'm not in favor or against any company that I talk about. I'm not a member of the NSE and BSE, and that I am not an official portfolio advisor. These all will be my personal opinion, and any buying or selling decisions that you take is purely on your discretion. Whatever I discuss here in various videos, I have been doing that for the last 2 3 years, 3 to 4 years, is purely based on my experience being a retail investor and trader into the market for the last 11 12 years. So I'm not an authorized member of the NSE and BSC. Kindly take that on note. Whatever market decision that you take, or decision to get into any asset class, it is laden with market risk, and market can go up and down at any point. So before I talk about Tata Technologies, here's a small request that kindly support me on Patreon. Once you do that, help me grow the channel, help you also ask me questions, seek out answers in greater detail. Once you get the $10 membership, you'll have access to my portfolio, my watch list, and a number of podcasts that I put up from time to time. You'll have access to a number of, you can say podcast on domestic and global markets. We have discussions on that. You will have analysis on different companies as to how their valuations look like, and you'll have answer to queries, whatever queries that you'll be having. You can email me for memberships, or you can also get memberships from Patreon. The link will be in the description. So now, just to discuss about this company, that is Tata Technologies. The IPO is coming out in so IPO has come out. It's going to be listed in about a week's time or so, and this is the only IPO that I have put my money into. So that's a disclaimer. I've not done that for any stock. I have bought into companies on listing. DMart was one on listing day I bought, and later on I sold and all. But this one looks very interesting at 500 rupees. Looked very interesting, and why, I'll discuss that. And even after the gray market premium that has gone up, the stock is looking pretty okay. So we'll discuss about that. So let's just give you an idea of what is the gray market premium currently. So Tata Technologies IPO gray market premium, I just googled it and nothing going through any site or anything, is around 414. That's what it is written. And this is about 5 hours ago that we are talking about. So this is just about today on 27th of November. The IPO premium is around 414 rupees. So if you take the IPO price at, you can say 500, then we are looking at listing if we take today's price at around 914, which is 82% 82% premium to your uh, uh, IPO price. Now, interestingly, when you look at Nika, so Nika had an IPO price of 1125. It got listed at 2000. So that was an appreciation of somewhere around 77-78%. If you look at DMart had an IPO price of 300, got listed at 600, and so it got listed on double, so 100% of premium. So this is, I suppose, in terms of the listing, is purely on the ranks of DMart, and there are multiple reasons for it as to why it is headed there. So today is 27th of November. There's a week to go, and even if we take a little bit of upside going forward for the next 6-7 days, I won't be surprised if this get listed somewhere around 960, 970 in that region, or even higher. So 950, 960 is what I'm taking into consideration. So when we discuss everything in terms of valuation and everything else in this video, we'll consider that, okay, primarily speaking, if we consider that Tata Technologies get listed around 960, then what we need to do. So on a scale of, say, at 500 rupees, the market cap of the company will be around 20,500 crores. So that was at 500 rupees. Now suppose it gets listed at 960 rupees, then we are looking at a 92% premium. So that's 92 into 20,500, which comes out to be around 18,860. We add 20,500 to it. It's around 39,000 crore the listing could be at. Now keep this number in mind, and then we'll now discuss about the company and then the valuations, and we'll come back to this number of 39,000 crore as to how it seems like at around, say, 960. Even if it lists at 960, what we need to do. So basically this video corresponds to how the valuations are like at around 960 compared to 500, because nobody is going to get it at 500 now, those who will not get it. So on listing it will be around more than 900. That's what it seems like. So basically Tata Technologies was incorporated in 1994. It is a global engineering services company offering product development and digital solutions. That's what it does. So basically, if we look at the key points, then we are looking at it primarily business is in the line of services, which includes providing outsourcing engineering services and digital transformation services to global manufacturers, clients, etc. Basically their business is into autos, and they provide similar sort of you can say know-how and services as compared to something like a KPIT or a Tata Elxsi. If you see it, it's just slightly different from Tata Elxsi. They have technology solutions for the automobile industries. If you look at revenue bifurcation, you'll have an understanding. Services accounts for around 80% of their business in FY23 versus 75%. Technology solutions is around 20% in FY23 versus 25%. In terms of business profile, so Tata Technology is a subsidiary of, you can say, Tata Motors, and is part of the Tata Group. The company as of September 23 had 19 global delivery centers spread across North America, Europe and Asia. It had 12,500 employees comprising 11,600 full-time employees in there. and has a market leadership. Market leadership in what? Let's understand that. So Tata Technologies has been positioned as in the leadership zone by Zenov James for engineering research and development ER&D services ratings in 2003 for the seventh consecutive years. Continuously, it has been in a market leading time frame and all that. Revenue, if you look at revenue concentration, then 40% of the company's revenue comes from its top two captive customers, Tata Motors and JLR. So basically, their most of their business comes from Tata Motors. Tata Motors business has been doing extremely well for the last 2 3 years, and this is where the promoters want to just make the best out of it by listing the company here. I believe that next year, next 1 to 2 years could be big for this sort of a business, because the auto industry itself is coming out of a very dull phase for the past 7 8 years. Since 2015, we have been going on a downtrend with respect to the auto industry and the cycle in the auto industry, especially during the pandemic. And now from 2022 onwards, things have started to look much better, and we are going to be in 24. So I think this cycle of the auto cycle or auto industry cycle remains for between 4 to 6 years, and they go into a lull period, it goes into a lull period for a similar phase or even greater. So what happened was, for 6 7 years things were really abysmal, and now things are picking up. I suppose till 2027 FY27 things should be pretty good. And the best part about Tata Technologies is they are big into the EV segment and providing solutions for the EV cars and EV you can say products, whether you look at four wheelers, even two wheelers. So they have different tie-ups. So that's why I believe that going forward, numbers are going to be strong. I won't say that it would keep on increasing in the manner it has. We'll discuss about the numbers in a while, but the trajectory could slow down a bit. It could always happen, but overall the company and the segment where it caters to is going to go big over the next decade or so. So in terms of you can say tie-ups and alliance, they have established strong partnerships and alliances with Dassault, you have Logity, you have Siemens Industries Software Incorporation, and there have been a lot of companies in the you can say capital goods space, in the engineering space, as well as automobile space. In terms of international presence, company has diversified a global presence across Asia Pacific, Europe and North America, and partners with many of the largest manufacturing you can say enterprises in the world. As of September 23, the company's clients included more than 35 traditional automotive OEMs and tier 1 suppliers, and more than 12 new energy vehicle companies. Now this is interesting. 12 new energy vehicle companies have come into the foray by 2023, and this is where the big growth will come in terms of geographical revenue bifurcation. India is around 30% of the business FY23 in terms of their business, versus 32% last time around. UK is around 19.5% versus 20%, so nearly the same. North Korea is nearly same, 22% or so, and rest of Europe is around 3% from 4%. That has gone down, and rest of the world has gone up from around 21%. They have diversified more into getting into Asia Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, etc., which has grown to around 26%. So North America and Asia Pacific is where the business has grown over a period of time. So as I said, their clients include mostly Tata Motors, JLR, and then they have OEMs like Airbus, McLaren, Honda, Ford, and Cooper Standard. All these kind of companies are also clients in there for Tata for Tata Technologies. But 40% of their business is from Tata Motors, which also hold a majority stake in this company itself. So that's one thing. Now, high client retention rate is pretty good. Company actively engages on multiple projects with clients and has a high repeat rate of over 99, 98, 99% in FY23. So this is pretty good. That means the clients that get into works with Tata Technologies stay with them for a longer period of time, and probably because of the name of Tata. And that's where people are, or you can say HNIs or large investors or FIIs are very gung ho about that. You will rarely see big clients or concentrated clients leaving such a company. So the hit on the revenue will not be that great. Profitability could go up and down, and that's why the company, the stock may, I mean, it could do anything, but that's why the valuations of the stock may not go down big time, because their clients will remain with them, so the businesses will keep on coming. It is just a fact that there could be a situation where the automotive cycle could turn around, and that's where things could go awry. But otherwise, if the businesses are good, if this industry grows, then I think Tata Tech along with other leading players could perform extremely well. Now if you look at it, so we don't have any charts or anything to discuss here, but numbers are here. So interesting point to note here is that over the last so one thing is that over the last 4 years, how the sales have grown from 2900 crores, and if I include other income, then nearly 3000 crores. The sales have grown to 4500 crores, so that has gone up by 50% over the last 4 years. So around 15%, 14-15% CAGR. But what you need to look at is in 2022, so in FY21, because 20 and 21 were very difficult years for the automobile industry. In 21, they did 2360 crores. If I include other income, around 2400 crores, 2380, so 2400 crores. In FY22, they did 3500 crores. In FY23, they did 4500 crores. So from 2400 crores, the revenue has grown to 4500 crores, nearly doubled in a space of 2 years, growing at around 35-36% CAGR, 34% or so. If you look at profitability, from around 240 crores in FY21, it has gone to 624 crores. That is a tremendous performance. And if you look at margins, from 16% has grown to 19%. This year what they have done, so in the September quarter, in the first 6 months, they have done around 2600 crores. If I include other income, it's around 2600 crores. In September of 22, they had done around 1900 crores. So that's a jump of more than 30% altogether, again 33-34%. So consistent, a period of growth of more than 30% is what we are seeing. And note that down, that the growth is around, on the sales front, is around 33-34%. Profitability has grown even more. From around 340 crores, it has gone to 466 crores. So that's around a growth of around 37%. But the way the sales have grown at around 34%, it tells me that the PE normally is double, nearly double of, on a long term basis, nearly double of your growth. If your growth is more than 18-20%, then normally continuously more than 18-20% on the sales front, then your PE is nearly double of your growth if you have a very good pedigree with respect to management, etc. And we have no doubt about Tata. So if I say that the company is growing at 33-34, let's say 33% over the last 2-3 years, then if you double that up, the PE comes out to be around 66. Now that's where the numbers looks interesting. Now in terms of EPS, now what EPS it is showing currently is before, you can say, listing. After listing, we have found on Chittorgarh, if I look at this on Chittorgarh website, things get better, and we'll come to know it. So let me just open that up so you'll have a better understanding. So once we open this up, we have an idea, and then I'll discuss about revenue, one more point about revenue after this. But if you look at on a PE basis, so this is it. So at 500 rupees, the PE on a forward basis, at around, with the current EPS of around 15.4, the listing at around 28, so the PE is around 28.8. At around 500 rupees, at 15.37, which is the current EPS. uh, it is trading at around 32 times or something like that. That's the PE. Now, if I'm saying 66, so that should be double of this on the current PE basis. So if I double this up, it comes out to be around 65, 66. That means around 1000 on current EPS basis, the stock should be around 1000 rupees. So if it lists around 950, 960, it's fairly priced. It's not expensive, it's not cheap. Around 950, 960, it is fairly priced on current numbers. But what you need to understand is the first 6 months of the company is normally the weaker section of the year. So if the sales, if it lists around 950, 960, 1890 crores of sales have come in. Now last year 1800, 1910 crores of sales came in by September 22. If we look at from here on in, say 6 months going forward, then probably we are looking at further growth. So what they did was in March 23, they did around 4500 crores. So if I take 1890 crores out of it, then we are seeing that 1890 of 4500 is around 42%. So basically 42% of their business or sales come in the first half and 58% in the second half. So that's what they did last time around. So if we take the similar rate this time around, then they did around 2600 crores now. And if it is 42% of the total, then we are looking at around 6100, 6200 crores. So that's the point. So 4500 crores now, which is 42%. I'm sorry, let me calculate this. 4500 is 4500 crores is 42% of the whole, which means the total would be somewhere around 6000 or so. So that's what I'm trying to tell you, that the total sales last time around were around 4500 crores in FY23. This time around, the first 6 months, the sales were around 2600 crores. So if 2600 crores is 42% of the total business, then around 6200 crores is the sales that is going to come up. Now this is the best assessment that we can put forward based on FY24 numbers, that in FY24 they are going to do 6200 crores of sales, and based on that, in terms of profitability, if we take in everything, say, let me just calculate for you here, 62, and this is all projection, remember, this is all projection, this is not something that they're going to come out with, but 6200 crores of sales compared to 4500 crores of sales is what we are estimating for FY say 24, based on the first 6 months numbers, based on the fact that second half is going to be good. On 6200 crores, even if we take say 19% margin or so, or around 18% margin or so, let's see what margins that they came out with. So 18%. So let's say they're going to do 18% margin on this 6200 crores. Then they are going to come up with operating profit of around 11, 16, 11, 15 crores. If I take into account the other income part to around 122 crores or so, that's around 1238. I'm doubling everything. So I'm doubling the interest, depreciation and other income, because this is 6 month figure out here. So if I look at interest figure, so that's will be around 18 crores for the year. For depreciation, it will be around 100 crores. So I take out 18, I take out 100. So it's going to be around 1120 crores. We take out the tax part. Then we are looking at somewhere around 840 crores. So profit will be somewhere around 840 crores. That's what I am assessing. So based on 624 crores, 840 crores is a decent jump, a jump of 34.6% on something like 624 crores, which is in FY23. So on 840 crores, If I take the EPS, so EPS being 15.37 this year, if I increase it by 34.6%, then we are looking at 5.3 plus 15.4, around 20.6, 20.7. So on FY24 basis, the EPS will be around 20 and a half rupees or so. Taking all this into consideration, because we are in December, so nearly FY24 will be upon us. So on FY24 numbers basis, at around 960 rupees, the stock will list at around 46, 47 times. Now that's where I feel that there is some value. So if you are a long-term investor, you're looking at 2-3 years down the line, then this figure of 46 times should change to somewhere around 66 times. So there is a growth path of around 40% even from 950, 960 rupees over a 1 to 2 year period. That's what I see on Tata Tech. Immediately I would say that the stock is fairly priced and it might not go anywhere, it might just consolidate, but from a 1 to 2 year perspective there is more gain that is possible in my assessment. Again, I see on a worst case scenario stock trading at somewhere around 50, 55 times. So on 20.5 rupees at around 50 times, it should be around 1000 rupees, which is at 960, 970. So on a worst case scenario, the stock will remain where it lists, which will be around 950, 960. On the best case scenario, we could see a decent upside from a 1 to 2 year perspective. That's what I feel on the stock. I have given you all idea about EPS and everything. Now you need to take your decision. If you get it in the IPO, that would be a huge lottery, because from the IPO price it should double immediately, but after that there could be a time frame of 1 to 2 years where the stock will end up growing even further. So basically, if you get it in the IPO and if you're a very short term trader, you can book probably. But I would suggest that this is a company to hold for years to come because of the kind of business that it is into. Again, no recommendation or anything, but that's my personal opinion with respect to how good this business or this brand has been of Tata. And that's why otherwise the stock market is such that it could just, I mean, trade at 40, 45 times as well. We have seen that happen with Tata Elxsi. We have seen that happen with something like KPIT. So if I open KPIT, you'll have a better understanding. Let me give you one example of how things can go bad. So 40,000 crore market cap, we see this. So what happened was tremendous numbers, stock went up sharply, and because of this IPO it went up even more, around 1600, 1624, and from 20th November over the last 1 week has dropped. So the PE exploded, I would say, or expanded up to around 90 or so and then went down. What I feel is that you need not be very if you have a very short term point time frame, then you need to probably avoid getting into it now after you have not gotten at that point of time. But on consolidation, if you want to invest from a 3, 4, 5 year point of view, then probably this business is going to grow even further going forward. On declines can be looked at, that could be something, but overall the valuation seems fine at around 500, seems fine around 7, 800, at around 950, 960. Tata Technologies is fairly priced, so that's where the difficulty is, that you get in and the stock falls. I would say that at 950, 960 the stock is fairly priced. That's all I want to say. Take your own decision with respect to investing into the stock or not investing into the stock once it gets listed. But at 950, 960 we are looking at, from a forward PE basis, 46, 47 times, as I explained, 20, 20 and a half rupees. On a current PE basis at around 960, we are looking at 65 times, trading at 62, 64 times. So that is exactly how the valuations pans out based on the kind of numbers that the company is projecting. So this was a video on Tata Technologies. Please like and subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so you can get my videos straight away when I post it. Kindly support me on Patreon. Thanks a lot for watching.